As visitors flock to Nelson Mandela Bay in the Eastern Cape, the city's tourism department says it's rolling out a comprehensive plan to tackle the scourge of crime and make sure tourists feel safe and welcome. With the local tourism industry bearing the brunt of high crime rates, the department's pulling out all the stops to develop and implement effective strategies that put visitor safety first. SABC News reporter Ntombozuko Balintulo is following that story.
With the high rate of crime in the Nelson Mandela Bay, Deputy Minister is here today to discuss some of the issues that can be helped to combat crime in the Nelson Mandela Bay to help attract tourists in the Eastern Cape. And of course, I've got one of the Executive Director for Economic Development, Mr. Wandisile Makwaba, who is going to be speaking to us and also just to tell us what they are going to be doing as the Nelson Mandela Municipality to make sure they do attract tourists into the Nelson Mandela Bay, and also some of the strategies they're going to put in place to make sure that everybody is safe. Mr. Makwaba, thank you very much for taking time to speak to us. Can you just briefly tell us what are some of the strategies that as the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality have put in place to make sure that they decrease the crime rate in the Nelson Mandela Bay?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your time, and good morning, greetings to the viewers. The work that we do is anchored on our strategy, the economic development strategy, but also we have a tourism master plan. And part of the pillars that you would find there in attracting both tourists in leisure and those tourists that come here for holidays is that we need to ensure that the city is safe. Not only are we working hard as a municipality to beef up and maintain our infrastructure, but because we are a trade hub, we are export-driven economy. We are quite advanced in terms of the infrastructure that is here. So what we need to do as a city, we maintain that infrastructure, simultaneously we ensure that the city is clean, because the look and feel is what talks to tourism. Tourism is about experience. So the economy looks at infrastructure, but it also looks at cleanliness, it also looks at the safety of tourists. So what we've done, we couldn't do it alone, we had to collaborate. We collaborated with the National Tourism Department. The Deputy Minister is here. Through that collaboration, the Minister was here. Minister Patricia de Lille was here yesterday and the other day, where we hosted the Africa Coastal Maritime and Tourism Maritime event, the first of its kind, inaugural event that we will host annually now, precisely because they are here to support us. When it comes to crime, it's a collaborative effort. We work with various stakeholders. In the main, the cluster that's responsible, the safety cluster that's responsible for that would be your SABC, that would be our own safety and security department or directorate. And last year we adopted a strategy. The minister was here, Minister Senzong. We adopted a strategy that says, let us focus on safety. Crime is ripened, there's vandalism, there's crime, there's also attack in our own infrastructure, our own strategic assets as a city. So we adopted that structure. It was approved even by council, that says that not only must we look at the cleanliness, the infrastructure, but also in terms of safety. So we reached out to the National Department of Tourism, and they approved most recently, working with business, because we work very closely with business. We launched an application and that was approved. We received about 3.1 million rands to secure. There's a safety plan but we needed to service that safety plan, particularly in the Golden Mile. That would be your beachfront cluster. But we're looking at other areas as well. We know the hotspots where crime is rampant, and the problem with tourism is that even if you have got a traveler, and that traveler is mugged, that becomes news, and we cannot allow such a situation. We need to focus on that, and that's what we're doing now. But also, it's not a question of government, business working together collaboratively to tackle the issue of crime. It involves communities. You saw this morning that the Deputy Minister and the ministers, the Speaker is also here, the MMC, Basikamana, who's responsible for economic development in the city, took a walkabout to talk to travelers, tourists, our own people, our own communities. That it's important that we collaborate. It's a team effort. We wouldn't be able to achieve any of the strategies that that we have any of the plans, even if we resource the plans, as we have done now, even if we receive council approval and council support, we do need the communities. The communities are here, we're engaging the communities, we're saying to them, these travelers, they bring in economic value to the city. The economy depends largely on tourism, manufacturing, automotive, and so on. But tourism is the greatest provider of jobs. If there's an event, for an example, here, you'll find that the entire facilities, the accommodation facilities and establishments, they are fully booked. We had G20 recently. We hosted that successfully. We have a total of 6 G20 events that we've bidded for through our convention bureau, which is located at economic development. And these strategic events that we bid for and we host, they depend largely on us being a city that's got the infrastructure to host. The capabilities are there, the city is clean, and the city is safe. And so we're able to host all of these. We hosted the president recently and the entire cabinet. These efforts that we've made and the results, therefore, are a measure of how capable the city is and how hard we're working to ensure that there is safety in our city. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. That was Mr. Wandisile Makwabe. He was briefly telling us some of the strategies that they've put in place to make sure that the city is back on its tourism, more attracting more tourists into the Nelson Mandela Bay. He's also mentioned that not only are they going to be working alone, but they've also broached in the national tourism, and they've also broached in some businesses, and also lastly they've also made sure that they bring in the community members, because with the tourists coming into the province, they go to these communities and they also make sure that they do bring in business when it comes to growing the economic development of this town.